East Central Minnesota. This is Go Live 320. We're bringing you the gospel message through restoration, renewal, and revival. And what we're talking about today is the spirit of delay. And I don't know if you've ever been in a place where you found yourself waiting for something to come, waiting for a breakthrough, or waiting for something that you've been praying for over a period of time, and you're just wondering, man, what's the deal? Hey, how you doing? Go Live 320. We are back, and today we're going to just be talking a little bit, since it's opener, deer hunting, here in East Central Minnesota. Everybody's out waiting for the sun to come up, and there's already been a few shots cracked out there in the wind. So we're just going to take some time today. I want to share with you a dream that I had the other night. You're like, what? What's this guy talking about? Yeah, it is. It's something, right? I mean, have you ever gotten to that place where you're like, man, I just wish I could hear from the Lord right now? Yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about Jesus. Maybe we're going to be talking a whole lot of Jesus, as far as how his life has come into me, and how his life comes into you, 320. Because you guys are the message. You are that message. The church is the message to the nations. And so I just want to spend a little bit of time. I want to tell you about a difficulty that was happening here in the region. These are crazy things. Maybe you've been walking through a crazy place in your life right now, and you're just kind of wondering, man alive, what is going on around here? So we've been when I say we, I will say the people that I'm surrounded with, that I'm doing life with. We've been in an extreme battle, and maybe you've been in an extreme battle. But in this battle, I want to say that there is hope, and I want to tell you that the Lord will come through, and he will meet you on the other side of that storm, on the other side of that battle. He is empowering you to push through these things. And you know what? He starts with small things and giving you victory, and then it kind of moves into some larger things, and that's kind of where I found myself. So the other night, I am fast asleep, and I have this dream, and in my dream, I'm running real fast, and I end up in this garden, and in the garden is this weed, and it stands about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet tall. And I was like, wow, that looks like that doesn't belong here. So I grab a hold of this thing, and I give it a yank on the stalk, and all of a sudden the root tears up the ground. Like there's a long root on this thing. And I was like, ha! So I pull on it again, and the root tears up the ground some more. And I'm like, wow. And I keep walking this thing out, pulling up on this stalk, pulling and pulling, and it's ripping up the ground. And I'm like, wow. And I keep pulling and pulling and pulling. And it seems like this thing's about 12, 15 feet long. And all of a sudden, boom, it pops right up out of the ground. And I was like, wow, that's weird. What is this thing doing here? And then I woke, and I said to the Lord, Lord, what is that all about? And this is what he told me. He says, I have just removed the root of despair from your heart. Boom! And I was just like, man alive, despair? And I thought, as I was awake, you know how you get awake right after a dream and you're like, I don't even know if that makes any sense. Despair? Like, it looks like it should have been something bigger than just despair. And I had, in that moment when I woke up, it was as though I didn't have any despair in my life at all. And that's why I was just kind of like imagining in my own mind, like, what? How could despair be this great? So, I think when I woke in the morning, the Lord had reminded me of the dream again, and I was like, holy cats, man, check this out. I mean, the Lord has pulled this root system of despair out of my heart, and I was so encouraged. You know how when the Lord finally speaks to you, and and I'm not saying like finally like never, I'm saying like finally, like breakthrough, finally, like this is it, man. Like we have come to the point where we have found ourselves in a place that the Lord has come through, and there's victory. It's kind of like when the apostles had woke Jesus on the sea, and they're like, Lord, wake up. Don't you care that we're perishing right now, right? And Jesus is asleep. He's resting. And even though there's a storm going on around him, he's resting. And we are in a panic and a freak out. So I just want to say that breakthrough came through, and it was a glory day for me the other morning. And I shared that testimony. And I had to tell somebody about it. So I told my wife about it, and she was like, wow, that's really amazing, given what has been happening in and around our lives, especially in this region. I think that we've been in a fierce battle with the enemy, and now this has broke through. So why do I tell you that? Because I want to tell you that Jesus is going to come, and he is going to find place in your life if you ask him to. And I think that's part of the deal. You got to get to the point that when we seek him, right, he will find us. We have to seek. We have to have enough gumption to get to the place in our life where we're spending time with him, pleading with him, Lord, I need you to bring a breakthrough in my life. I don't know if I can go much further. And I think that the Lord gets to that, yeah, you got more in you. There's a little bit more in you. We're going to stretch right now your faith. And faith gets stretched. It has to be exercised. It has to be empowered, right? I mean, so that you can come up against the next thing in life and be able to take what you have been given, and that is going to be enough faith to get you to that next place. So the encouragement, right? So anyway, I want to tell you a little bit when I come back just what I did with that particular dream and how it played out the very next morning. So, along with that dream, I had a thought came into my mind. A thought came into my mind. Have you ever had a thought come into your mind about doing something for others, right? So that's kind of where I was at. And where this thought comes in is that I had just received an increase from the Lord. And I wanted to take that increase as a first fruit, and I wanted to give it away. And I wanted to give it away out of generosity, and because the Lord had been so generous with me, I just wanted to give it away. The very first portion of what the Lord had given to me, I took that portion, called a first fruit. And if you want to know what first fruits are about, go ahead and check out God's Word. Just do a word search. Hop up on Google, first fruit. And I want you to go out to like blueletterbible.com or go out to YouVersion or go out to Bible Hub and do a little search on what a first fruit is and where do I see the first example of a first fruit and what do I do with it? Okay, back to my morning. So I'm having this thought and I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to take that first fruit. I was really excited about this. I was like, man, I get to give this away to somebody. So I thought that I would go down to the because we live out in the middle of nowhere, right? I go down to the gas station and I withdraw my first fruit out of the machine, the bank machine, the ATM, and I take that and I'm thinking, man, I this is going to be fun. Lord, you got to point out who this is. Who should I give this to? So I pull the money out, but before I walked into before I walked into the gas station there, I know, the gas station. So before I walked in there, I saw this lady walking out, and I said good morning to her, and she said good morning to me. And I was like, oh, well, she's probably not it. She's just coming out. She's probably paid for her gas, and she's taken off. So I go in, I withdraw my money, I come back outside, and there's this lady, and she's putting oil into her truck. Now, she was a little bit of an older gal, and she was kind of reaching over there, and she's got this big F-150. I don't know, maybe it was a 250. But she's pouring oil into that thing, and I just kind of moseyed right on up, and I just leaned in on her truck, and just kind of rest my elbows down on the fender of the truck, and I go, I had a dream last night. And she turns and she looks at me like, what? What are you doing? Like, I'm like inner space right now, and I go, can I share a dream that I had with you last night? So I tell her my dream about the root and about despair, and how despair has been removed from my heart, that the Lord had removed this despair from my heart. And I said, I have been blessed by the Father, and I have been given an increase, and out of generosity, I'm going to take this increase that I have in my hand right now, and I'm going to give it to you. She's just kind of looking at me like, what is going on here? And I said, the Lord has been so good to me, and I just want to be generous to you, and I want to give this to you. And she looks at me and she says, no, you can't do that. And I said, no, seriously, you cannot take away my generosity. I want to give this to you because the Lord has been good to me. And so she kind of reaches out her hand like, I probably should take this from him because he seems to be pretty adamant about it. And I place it in her hand, and I just want to say, the Lord bless you. The Lord bless you. And how he has removed despair from my life, and how he has been generous to me, I want to give this to you. And she all of a sudden breaks into tears, and she begins to weep. And I was just like, Lord, look at you. Go here. Boom. And that was it. And I said, you know what? Have an awesome day in the Lord. And I started to walk away. And I turned back, and I shouted to her, and I said, hey. And she turns around and she looks at me, and I said, don't cry. Today is going to be a good day. And that was the end of my morning. Is that just craziness or what? I mean, just to be in a place where we've come into a surrender because of what the Lord has done to us, and then we take that and we bless people with what we've been given. And sometimes it's just a great day in the morning, right? And to share that great day in the morning with others. There are people, I believe, that are walking around in and where you are living, and they need to hear a testimony of the hope that is inside you. So this is Go Live 320, your host Pete Cooper. We are broadcasting out of Barron, Minnesota. Check it out on the map. I think we have a gas station here. Anyway, we are just north of the cities, the Twin Cities. Good old St. Paul and Minneapolis. And we are just south of Duluth, and we are on the corridor, the I-35 corridor, which we call the Highway of Holiness now, because the Lord is moving up and down this corridor, and we're believing it, and we are believing that something good is about to happen. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. And behold, a hand touched me, which sent me unsteadily upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. And the angel said to me, O Daniel, you greatly beloved man, understand the words that I speak to you, and stand upright. For to you I am now sent. And while he was saying this word to me, I stood trembling. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight, there goes a sight. Now there goes a sight from my there goes a sight. There goes a sight, there goes